Good day, everyone. Today I'll be continuing about, which is module 2, Unpacking the Self, which is the digital self. I am sorry for my voice right now because I am sick. Yes. And I'm recording again because we are having an asynchronous classes because of the earthquake that is happening in the Philippines, especially here in Mindanao. So let us try to bear with one another. Okay, so my first question is, what was your first email account? Your username? Can you still remember? Or, diba, sometimes our username or email account before is very childish and it's kind of cliche or whatsoever. So try to remember it. It made us some giggles or laugh about it, but it's actually part of yourself. It is a blast from your social media past, diba? So it's good to remember because that I guess that's where your digital self started. Okay, start. So most digital media requires an online identity, which is a neutral identity and is expected to be truthful about one's credentials. Actually, the rise of the internet has paved the way for ease of access of scholarly materials, references, and resources. For business and marketing, digital media has been indispensable in providing a faster and more advantageous way of spreading ideas, offerings, and advocacies. The World Wide Web has given the opportunity for the anonymous to be well known in just the push of a button. And also, communication has become easier and cheaper with the rise of internet based communication platforms. Business transactions have been made easy with e-commerce. Our digital interactions, which has grown into one of the main aspects of life of the past 3 generations, has inevitably created a subspace to explore identity. So almost all digital media platforms require an online identification device, right? Students have become one of the top consumers of digital and social media, right? Right? This is started the online asynchronous and the synchronous classes have actually started before, but it was being used especially during COVID times. That's why up until now, we are still using the asynchronous, synchronous classes and face-to-face mode of classes, right? So still, diba, it is still useful up until now, given the situation that we have, diba? It's still helpful, and it's also easier to communicate with you, to continue our class. Okay, next would be, how has the internet helped you as a student? Time spent on the internet increases, and eventually a young person develops an extension of herself in the online arena, right? So there are a lot of ways that the internet had helped us. Especially, yeah, there are advantages of technology. Especially right now that you have ChatGPT, you can search everything there. You are blessed. We don't have that before. Anyway, I hope that if you are using those, use it wisely and do not depend on it. Okay? Ana lang. Next, the complexities in the self. Students, especially adolescents, can face multiple issues throughout the course of their youth. Okay? Given the developmental students are in, their digital self adds to the complex issues they may be currently facing, including your developmental, academic, and personal. Diba? Because before, there is no internet, so we tend who really like in developmental, we just keep playing outside. Right now, we prefer to play in our phone or iPad, diba? During our academic, if we study in the book. Right now, we can study in the internet, right? The personal, so there are, we have hobbies or what not. Usually before, they are really exposed outside or something like that. Right now, diba? It's our personal testaments or whatsoever. We will share it in the social media, something like that. So the question now is who you are online still who you are offline? So try to reflect on that. Mm. Because sometimes, because we are too dependent to the social media, we forget, we and we just keep on seeing people who are or who are very like ideal people that we get inspired with, and to the extent that we are going to like copy all of their like everything, their face or whatsoever, what they are using, their hobbies or what. So try to reflect on this or try to check yourself. Is you excuse, is who you are online still who you are offline? Try to think about this. Okay, reflect. Next, now let's proceed to the selective self-presentation and impression management. One's personality can be extended to online activity, or it could be an extension, which blurs the lines between fantasy and reality. So, selective self representation is the process of creating a carefully chosen digital representation or expression of the real world self. There, one can take on as many personas as they wish. This is made possible by the ability to create and recreate our own avatars. So, through this, we control the impressions we have on people, right? The question is how much of a difference the real and virtual personas have. There is evidence that which suggests that people can integrate with or assume the selves they have presented to an audience online. So this is now the difficulty, the crisis, right? So we tend to be selective on how we represent ourselves to other people, especially in the social media. That's why I ask you in the previous slide, is who you are online still who you are offline? So better check yourself. Because according to Russell W. Belk, I actually wrote about the extended self in the digital self. He viewed the self as having an inner core with several dimensions or parts, example, aggregates. These self constructions are enhanced by material possessions which have various degrees of importance to one or more of these aggregates. Okay. So the self is acted upon and embodied, and material things and possessions, even people, can be included and make up the extended self. So that's how Russell W. Belk viewed about the extended self in the digital world. Let us continue. We've also been re-embodied as our avatars or edited pictures which used to represent ourselves online. You identify with your avatar on a psychophysiological level. So with the freedom to modify our avatars, they may represent our ideal selves. So for example, when a character or avatar dies, we feel a sense of loss, right? So virtual worlds let you find out who you are by letting you who you want to be, right? So that's the embodiment of online. Next, the self is acted upon and embodied. A material things and possessions, even people, can be included and make up the extended self. These material possessions not only provide others' impressions of ourselves, but also markers for a person or a group's memory. This gives the feeling of nostalgia, taking us along memory lane and showing us what has changed between the time these memories were formed to now. However, in the digital world, material possessions become virtual. Yet, evidence suggests that our sense of ownership towards these things remain. We can still become attached to these virtual possessions. So, such as virtual possessions in games, using real money to buy the very best virtual materials. Oh my God, we can relate. On the contrary, some people regard digital versions of possessions such as CDs, music, cards, and photos as having less value to them than their physical counterparts. So this appears to vary with age. Example, for older people, tend to be less attached to digital possessions than younger ones, diba? Because older people are not playing online games. Like, we really need to have to invest the the gaming laptop, the gaming whatsoever that we have right now, compared with the older people, right? So now let us proceed to discussing about the impact of online interactions. So there are three. The dangers of multiple personas or multiple selves. It is more difficult to segregate multiple personas. For example, we are careful of what we post online for fear that our parents or friends may see. So, maunan i-exempt sila, Charlotte. Okay. Digital media has made possible entertainment in the form of games, which can take up a lot of an individual's time. Yes, we may not notice that, oh my God, it took us 2 hours na di ay to to diba, to use TikTok or Facebook, especially if we are into it and we had so much fun. Or we can relate, diba? In addition, interacting online through social media has made real-time long-distance interactions with peers who have similar interests. The rewarding feeling from these interactions are immediate and fulfilling, right? So that's why we can still interact with our friends even if we are away from them. We can still interact with our family members who are abroad, right? We can still interact with our boyfriend, girlfriend, diba? Or we can check them through social media and what they are posting, something like that. So online interactions, the social media let us enables long distance socialization. So somehow long distance relationship works for other people. So as Belk, according to him, 2013 suggested, there is a degree of integration of identity between online and real world personas. This re-embodiment and its positive or negative effects are still a subject of ongoing research. Yes, it is no longer a matter of eliminating internet use. Rather, it is a matter of managing use and exposure. Diba? We cannot control anymore that the generation today is part na gets ang internet use, the digital self, okay? Even 1 year old has a Facebook account made by their parents. So we cannot eliminate anymore because it is already here. So now it is a matter of managing use and exposure to this, right? So let us proceed. The private self on the wall and the public self on the wall. So digital media has allowed us to share parts of ourselves to more people. Your wall or the Facebook wall or whatever wall that you have in the social media, your IG, your TikTok, your Twitter, your X, the I. So your wall is a place to share parts of yourself to an audience as a form of self-expression. This wall becomes an extension of the private self, which can be seen by people. Okay, let me differentiate these two. Before, in the past, our private self on the wall is default, diba? During our time, Friendster, it is like, yeah, not all of the people are using before because it is hard for because before our internet is very slow. Okay, and we don't have Facebook yet, so I'm very old today, Char. So in the past, our private self is the very default. At present, it is very effortful. If effortful, okay, it is very effortful to become a private person or to have a private self. Okay, unless you will like lock your profile, then those friends of yours are makakita. You can see your post, right? And right now, the public self of the world. In the past, it's very effortful to let everyone knows that I'm here, I exist, I'm using Friendster, I'm using this, we have this or like that. I have these possessions, I have this new phone, something like that. At present, it is default, right? Given that you have a Facebook account or Instagram or whatever, then it is default that you have a public self. Okay. Um, You can also try to check yourself in ChatGPT. Maybe ChatGPT knows about you. Mm. Anyway, so much from that. So the reality of oversharing, the danger of oversharing also exists in the digital age. Example, pictures or passwords. Due to the disinhibition brought by anonymity and the lack of face-to-face interaction, this disinhibition brought by anonymity This disinhibition can sometimes be therapeutic. According to Bushell and Berger 2012 and First and Wood 2012, they have found that less emotionally stable people are especially likely to enhance well-being through blogging and engaging in social media. Okay? So, self-disclosure is also easier in digital media. We all know that. The blurred lines between real and virtual identity is determined in part by the amount of time spent per day and week. So, ina nila, there's a positive and negative effect, di ba, of oversharing or there's a reality about it. So try to check yourself if you overshare your like every minute, every second you are sharing something about yourself. Like your my day is like your story is like a book na naunsa na, 'di ba? Mm. There's a danger in oversharing, guys. Okay? So here. So when one crosses the line between the real and virtual, and no distinction separates the two, assuredly, serious problems can ensue and wreak havoc on the online user's cognition and behavior. Okay? So, there's a psychological effect if you just keep on oversharing that you cannot no longer um, determine or you cannot cross the line your excuse, excuse me guys. Okay. So there's a psychological effect if we cannot control our or how we share in the social media. Like there's those distinction na between your real and virtual world. Then there's a psychological effect to the recognition and behavior and how you think and how you behave. Try to check yourself. Maybe you're very angry now or grumpy or whatever you're thinking is negative na. Because maybe you were, just keep on watching or reading negative, and then it will give you a negative behavior. It will lead you to have a negative behavior, especially if you are being disturbed, mangaon na, nasuko na. Hmm. S- Diba? Anyway, next, um, our online personal identity versus our social identity. Socialization in the cyberspace has also been made possible, giving people a place to hang out, enjoy themselves, and feel accepted. Social media is now also seen as an important place for psychological development. Interactions on social media can be used to reaffirm ourselves and other people's sense of selves. For example, study shows that teens post negative things about themselves to seek validation and reassurance. This is according to Boyd 2010, Forrest and Wood 2012. Do you agree with this? That um you will post negative things for you to seek validation and reassurance from other people. You need a heart or a like or a wow or a feeling sad emojis, reactions. Are you? Anyway, digital media has also become a great tool to document and archive our memories and experiences. Yes. Um, Especially Facebook memories. That's what I like about Facebook. There's a Facebook memories that you will know that, oh, last year I was here. Oh, last year I was like this. I was having a hard time, something like that. Okay. It's just a reminder. It remains a philosophical question whether our sense of self remains in these digital memories. Right. So, how different are you online versus in real life? Try to ponder this one. How different are you online versus in real life? Are you still you or a bit different online? Or I have known a lot of people, huh? They are like this online very they just keep on oversharing thoughts or whatever. They just keep on posting or what. And in reality, they are very quiet. So try to check yourself, guys, if how different are you online versus in real life? Are you still you? Okay, next. Okay. Nabali. Okay. There are warning signs indicating a pathologic use of the internet. First is try to check yourself. This is from the Journal of Pediatrics. Hours of sleep reduced in exchange for the time spent online. Checking emails or messages multiple times a day. Lying about the amount of time spent online when alone. Developing anger when access to internet is not allowed. Altered time perception while online. Spending time online in place of studying or practicing sport or socializing activities. Developing new relationships with people met online and neglecting the old friends. Spending time online instead of being with family and friends, developing distress and irritation if online time is interrupted, contravening the established time limits for internet usage, developing frustration and moody attitudes when not online, developing anxiety and feeling pressed to get back online when away from the computer, losing interest in activities formerly enjoyed before the internet was available. So check yourself. Okay, these are the pathologic use of the internet. Okay, let's go back to your you have to create your um instruction. You create a visual collage or digital poster that represent your digital self. These include your photos, emojis, or icons that represent how you appear online, words or hashtags that describe your digital identity, a short quote or a caption that expresses your online personality. You may design it using Canva, College Makers, or whatsoever. So your size is A4, one page only. S- Deadline is October 16, 2025. Okay, as much as I want you to have this, like, post this online, but because maybe, again, daot na pud ang atong Google G-Class or ang IIT system. So, dali na lang. I hope that you learned something from the digital self and try to reflect on this. Okay, anyway, see you guys. Bye, everyone.